everyone, and welcome to another, our next segment of Career Tip Tuesday. I am your host, Sherry Sims, founder of Black Career Women's Network and Black Career Women's Network. We've been around since 2012, and our whole goal since 2012 is to help support Black career women in creating the positive change they want to see in their careers. And of course, this is and she's not a co-host; she is a host too. Makeda, introduce yourself to our viewers. They already know who we are anyway, but we got to be formal.
Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. My name is Makeda Matthews, calling in live from Atlanta, Georgia. So just let me know you're here. And I'm the Chief Network Officer for BCWN.
Yes, and thank you for joining us. We had a lot of ladies tuning in. This is amazing. We love it. I know some of you know the drill now. They know to say hi and tell us they're watching from Atlanta and watching from wherever. So let us know where you are watching from. We would love to know. Okay, we're gonna get things going for Career Tip Tuesday. Once again, and Career Tip Tuesday really is about really making sure that we are offering career insights, advice and helping you to really take some of these things and apply them to in real time to your career. So today I'm going to scroll. Makeda knows I cannot stand working without a mouse, and I have a mouse I'm working with today, and I'm not liking it. So hold on. So get to the top. I got to scroll back and forth.
Hey girl, happy Tuesday.
All right. So Career Tip Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about workplace wisdom for Black women. Okay, we're going to be talking about thinking about dropping some gems in terms when it comes to wisdom when it comes to how you navigate and how you think about things in your career in the workplace for Black women. All right, Makeda, you want to kick us off with the first one?
Yes, I just saw somebody is here from London. Welcome.
Oh, nice. Well, welcome, user from London. We love it.
I think it's about 7 o'clock in London.
All right. So she's 7 o'clock in the evening because they're ahead of us, right? 8 hours. All right. Yeah. So we're glad you're joining us this evening from London. Thank you for that.
Yes. So we are going to start off our first workplace wisdom nugget is elevate your voice. Sherry, what does elevate your voice mean to you?
Elevate your voice to me means that a couple of things. It means that you are making sure that you are showcasing yourself in the workplace, which means that you are taking time to really toot your own horn, helping others to see what you've accomplished, thinking about your what you bring to the table and making sure that not only you are having yourself be you are recognizing and valuing that, but also that other people are noticing that, and also speaking up for yourself, right? As I know that we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but elevating your voice also means you want to make sure that that you don't miss those opportunities to elevate it, which means are you in the rooms to where you could be listened to where what you're saying is being heard, you're being listened to, you're being valued.
Yeah, I agree.
What about you?
I echo all of those things, but I also think elevating your voice to give kudos and positive reinforcement to others who maybe you're saying that don't have a voice or be a little bit shy or a little bit more introverted. Elevate your voice because the kudos can do so much for not only that person, but you can also be seen as that person that appreciates everybody, and you want to have a sense of gratitude, a sense of thankfulness, a sense of being a team player. So elevate your voice not only for yourself but for other people.
And I think too, if I also think about advocating your voice is also advocating for change too. We're not saying that you need to go into the workplace and be some sort of rebel, but I mean, when you have an opportunity to be influential and in there, then it's kind of, you can use it as an opportunity to create change and whatever that looks like as well. So I like that too.
Okay. What do you all think?
What do you all think?
So we'll come back to your comments in a second. We'll keep rolling. But what does elevate your voice mean to you? So our second one is emphasize resilience. I think this one is so important. But I don't think you start here, so to speak, but having a plan for your career will help you with the resilience, I think, because if you have a plan, you know where you want to go, you know what you want to do. We know that careers are, they go up and down. They're not, linear, but having that plan will help you be resilient because you should always know where your North Star is. And irregardless of what happens, um, or what sort of roadblocks or hurdles may come in your way, always remembering what your North Star is will help you build resilience, but you have to start there. But having resilience will keep you on the track and it will keep you kind of going in the direction that you need to go for your career. You are responsible for your career. Nobody else is
Mhm.
responsible for your career but you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that you have to. It's always healthy to stay focused on your goals, but you do need to have. You do need to. It's just like anything else. When you think about financial savings, you always kind of want to put a buffer in there for anything that may be a roadblock or an obstacle you have to overcome, and leave room for that. And like Makita says, careers are linear, so they can be all over the place. And with that being said, you do have to have patience with have patience for yourself and the time it may take to overcome some of those roadblocks and challenges. Because for Black women, it's never going to be just a straight line. There are some out there who've been able to be on a specific trajectory that's kind of been straight and narrow, but others more than likely it's linear, and you want to make sure that you have the resilience and the toughness, mental toughness to be able to push through those times when it does get tough. Because at times it does. At
Mhm.
times it does.
It can get
Um,
really tough.
Even when we don't even recognize that we're going through an obstacle, right? I mean, I
Mhm.
think about sometimes in my own career, because I always say do the self assessment of, or what I've
Mhm.
heard here lately is do this. What is it kind of do research in your own life? And if I did research on my own career, I think about some of the challenges I've had. Some of them were because of microaggressions or biases. Others were not paying me what I'm worth, and all those things kind of took me in different places where I had to learn to be resilient and learn how to do some other things we're going to be talking about on this list.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
So I think kind of naturally, I think about self care, which is one of our topics as well. So when you're in a rut, or maybe you get in a rut, but self care is one of the let me back up and say, coming out of work and kind of getting yourself together and taking care of yourself, it kind of gets you out of the minutia, it gets you out of the nitty gritty, it gets you out of the emotions that you're feeling, and it helps you kind of think about, okay, what is it that I need? And it's a really, really, really good pause and reset, especially when you're kind of going like this and you're here and you're trying to be there or whatever in your career. Get your self care on, and really, that really helps you ground yourself and kind of reset yourself.
All right, so let's go to one of my favorites, which is strategy over emotion. So this is a quote from Marsha Haygood. She's one of our favorites, also, longtime mentors. She also is a, empowerment coach. She works with women on professional development and growth, and she's also the co-author of the Little Black Book of Success and Lost Leadership for Black Women. And so this is something that she always talks about in conversations, not just with BCWM, but other platforms and other people that she has had conversations with, and coaches on this as well, is making sure that we are being strategic in putting our strategy and how we approach things
Mhm.
over how we feel
Yeah, yeah, I
and the
agree.
importance of that.
I agree.
You want to emphasize on that a little bit, Makita? Because I can go
Yeah,
on about this one.
I the only thing, and I know you can go on, and I totally invite it, but the only thing that I'm thinking about is, when we think about the things that we want and the things that we need out of our career and stuff like that. Um, when we plan, do we think about worst case scenario, or do we think about the things that could go awry, or do we, um, kind of at least contemplate some of those things. So when your emotions do take over, you kind of think about, nope, I thought about this and this is what I said I was going to do, or this is how I respond. I'm just curious, like if I don't know, I've never done it. I'm just wondering if anybody else has kind of thought of those worst case scenarios before they happen. And when you get there, did you do what you thought you were going to do, or did you go into emotion? That's kind of what I would.
Yeah, yeah. I think more for me, I think about it more of, okay, so I'm in a situation. Maybe I just saw someone who took credit for my work, or maybe when someone just made a comment that I wasn't comfortable with, or maybe I witnessed someone saying something inappropriate. Or maybe that I was supposed to be supposed to be included in the meeting, and I was not, and it was important for me to be a part of that meeting because part of the outcome I'm responsible for, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm,
sometimes these things can be annoying. Sometimes these things can piss you off, and sometimes they need to be addressed in real time. So when I think about strategy over emotion, I do think more around what is something that has happened that either can be a trigger or something that it's like, oh hell no. And
mhm,
you and I've had those
mhm,
conversations where it's like,
mhm,
oh hell no, right?
mhm,
What is those times where something has happened and your mind's like, oh hell no, this just happened, and then how am I going to now
mhm,
resolve this issue? You know,
mhm,
what am
mhm.
I going to do to bring to really uh, and some people are not good with confrontation, right? So those of you who are not good with confrontation, you do need to think about strategy of emotion more than others who are good at it naturally,
Mhm,
because more than likely I mean, or I take that back. Because someone who's not good with confrontation more than likely will not even address it. But someone
mhm,
who's a hothead or someone who really is like, no, I need to call this out right now. They probably need to use strategy or emotion more than anyone else because they may going into it with the feelings versus
that's right.
let me think this through.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I always like this one because
mhm,
it sneaks up on you, and you may not even be prepared to for what how you need to manage it, and you have to kind of step away and come back.
yeah, that's right, right, and that's okay, that's okay. So we have a comment, Marhisha. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. She says, "I'm going through an obstacle at the moment. Relocated to another state for a career change. 6 months later, I'm out of work. Mentally and emotionally, I'm just trying to stay afloat."
Yeah, Marisha, I hate to upset it. I hate to hear that. I know that this hurts my heart to hear that
Mhm,
you're going through that after 6 months of going through. I mean, after relocating, um, but you will get through it. Let us know how we can support, how we can
mhm,
help, even if we're just kind of being some cheerleaders and powwow and conversations. And if you're not part of our community, please join so we can connect with you and be a supportive element while to help you with your career journey.
yeah, yeah. Please let us know. Sorry, so sorry that happened to you. We have another comment from Sherry Robinson. She
Hey,
says, "Yes."
Sherry.
She says, "Yes, I was placed in a position that potentially could have helped me get promoted. However, as the manager would have it, she didn't want to promote this American Black girl at all. I was not happy. I continued to learn on the job more, but still no promotion. Needless to say, we ended up in litigation." Oh my.
Ooh.
Wow. Good for you for standing up for yourself.
Yeah, and I like this because Sherry, you kind of lead us right into the next one, which is that we want to make talk about is self advocacy matters, and that's exactly what you did was advocate for yourself.
Mm, mm,
And
mm,
kudos to you for that. I mean, I'm
yeah.
talking about serious applause for real because
Mhm,
um, you weren't happy. You continued to run the job, was no promotion, and then you ended up in litigation, which was not good. So kudos to you for taking it to that
mhm,
next step because that means you definitely know your value, your worth, and you saw that you were not being taken seriously, and you did what you had to do.
mhm,
You know,
mhm,
and that's empowerment. This is what you did was empowerment. She said, "I'm still in the mess that has cost me." Oh, I hate that. Now that part
mm.
I hate. How it digs into
That's
the
right.
wallet.
Mm, mm, mm,
Right, right.
mm,
But hopefully that cost will be recouped.
Right.
Hopefully.
Hopefully we come up.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that you'll get that back.
Thank you.
Hi, Kevin. Well, Kevin, welcome back. Kevin was on our last Career Tip Tuesday.
Okay. Hi, Kevin.
He gave some inspiring, yeah, he shared some inspiring messages on our last Career Tip Tuesday.
Mhm.
So thank you for coming
Mhm.
back. Because
Yeah.
someone actually said that to you, agreed, good for you for setting up for yourself. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
let's go back really quick to that self advocacy and what that and how that really matters. We have a webinar that we do called "Being Your Own Fierce Self Advocate." And when you think about
Mhm.
that, it's not just speaking up for yourself when you're being if you're being marginalized or this bias, or if you're experiencing someone who is
Mhm.
you need to displaying toxic behaviors or things like that, but you want to make sure in every aspect that you or if you're experiencing something that you speak up for yourself, whatever
Mhm.
that looks like, you
Mhm.
know, and
Right.
use whatever channels that you need to use in order to help to support that.
Yep. Yep.
Um, I
Yep.
think there's nothing wrong with being able to, if you need to bring someone else into the fold to help support that, you can.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree.
You want to take the next one, Makeda?
Yeah, we actually have another comment. Chanel says, anyone looking for a job, I've launched my job board that connects diverse talents with my employers. Okay. Thank you, Chanel. We typically don't allow solicitations on our webinars. Um, so thank you.
And we do also have a job board, Chanel, for our members, the BCWN, and we have over 5,000 employers who post and have been posting on our job board for the last 10 years. So we do have a robust job board. And what I love about our job board is that the women also too, excuse me, the employers are coming because they're specifically looking for um,
Mhm.
for talent,
Black
for
women.
Black
Yep.
female talent, which
Yep.
is great.
Yep.
And Chanel, if you are looking to, in reference to promote that link, you can connect with us offline to discuss collaboration. All right.
Mhm. All right. Raven says, I took a chance to transition into a more permanent, secure role. I didn't pass, and now I find myself looking for another job. I'm also thinking about maybe changing my career altogether. Um, as well, Raven, you do have to think about what is it that you want out of your career. If you're thinking about changing your career altogether, it sounds like you're having some internal conversations about what you want to do and how you want to do it.
Yeah, and I think, Raven, because you said you took a chance to transition to a more permanent, secure role. I guess my question is the main thing you should have been asking yourself is why? Were you just looking for a permanent, secure role, or were
Mhm,
you transitioning into like a whole other career because you want to be able to utilize other gifts
mhm,
and talents, or
mhm,
discover what those gifts and talents are because you're
mhm,
kind of like drawn to
mhm,
explore something different? So you say you didn't pass. I'm assuming there maybe was a certification or something
mhm,
involved you had to take,
mhm,
and now you're looking for another job. So I think it's you do have to ask yourself why, and then sometimes when we decide to make these transitions, we have to really be careful about what are we gaining, what are we losing, and then
mhm.
there should be a plan that's coming along with that as well. There should be a plan coming along with that as well. So I think that's important too. So, if you want to, we do offer the invitation for you to come join us in our
Mhm,
community, and we can definitely help you kind of work through what this looks like for you. Because it sounds like you might need a little bit more additional support in terms of kind of either creating a vision or a plan,
mhm,
strategic plan, and
mhm.
kind of what you need to kind of help you with it. And that's okay, because that's what we're here for. That's what BCWN is here for, is
That's
to
right.
be able to help to support you through what that looks like, and making sure that you're making, because we have this saying, career smart decisions, and making sure you're making those career smart decisions is going to help you
That's
um,
right.
to move forward in a way that makes sense, and make it, I wouldn't say make it necessarily easier for you, but just kind of make sure that it's just a much a smoother experience you're having as you're
And
trying to kind of seek out what's next for you.
yeah, and really bringing clarity to what you want to do, which is to share his plate. Really, the first step. But Raven says she's a federal contractor and wanted to transition into a permanent government.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Makes sense. Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you for
connect with me.
sharing that because that
Connect with
makes
us.
yeah, that makes a lot of the difference there. I'm
Mhm.
gonna say this one more time for all of you who are on the call for housekeeping rules. Please do not solicit your businesses on our timeline. This is Career Tip Tuesday, so we're here to support and empower Black females in reference to giving them career advice.
Mhm.
If you do have a business of some sort that you feel like that will be helpful and supportive for Black career women, we do invite you to take some time out to schedule a call with us and talk about collaboration and partnership.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
I wanted to go
So
ahead and
our
share that.
next piece of wisdom is create a well-structured plan. I always like to say, be married to your goals, not the job, not people. So
Hmm.
create the plan to.
I love that.
Thank you. I've learned a lot from you over the years, and I have my own little sayings now. Thank you.
I
But
love that. I was like, okay, go Makeda.
yes, but create the plan that gets you where you want to be. And
Hmm.
again, because careers are often not linear, you might have to think about what sort of experiences do you want to get? What sort of skills do you want to get? What sort of people do you want on your, so to speak, professional board of directors? Think about those things versus, and think about, okay, I want to go from grade A to grade B to grade C. Yes, think about all of those different things, but
Hmm.
the world and the job market is becoming one so that we're really looking at experiences a lot. So make sure you get the experiences that you want to have to be able to get to where you want to be. What else you got to share?
Yeah. Yeah. I always say I have a saying, and Makeda's heard me say this 10,000 times. I always feel like that every job that we accept should be preparing us for that next level. So we should be going into these roles knowing
Mhm,
specifically what it is we want to accomplish and achieve.
mhm,
Still
mhm,
prepare ourselves for the roadblocks and hurdles if we have them. But then every job should be preparing you because I say stay marketable in your industry, not just on the job. So you're not just trying to make sure that you're doing a great job, on the job. You should be making sure you're staying valuable in your industry because if that
mhm,
job is cut tomorrow, you want to know that you can go and get another position in your industry. So you want to make sure that you are staying marketable. And I always say marketability also increases your income potential. Okay, marketability equals profitability. If that makes sense in that way, right?
that's
So
right.
the more marketable you are, the more you're able, which means you bring high value, which means that then at that point now you can start negotiating with confidence in terms
Mhm,
of your income potential. So, always make a name for yourself in your career, not just on the job, because that job is going to last a certain amount of time, but your career can be over the lifespan of how long you choose to do it.
mhm. That's right.
Hmm. I love that. Kim, look, she got your quote. She said, "Be married to your goals, not the job, and not the people." Yes.
Mhm. Okay, because sometimes the job and the people will take you down.
Okay, so I know, and I think we're gonna have to put this quote out on a BCWN graphic today, Makita. Okay,
Okay.
be married to the goals, not the job, not the people. Okay, that's today's
Mhm,
quote. All right,
mhm,
I
mhm.
love that.
And I know we all get work besties and stuff like that, but again, the work besties don't come before your goals. You keep the besties as you continue to move up in your career.
Yeah, because when there's an article out there, and we did a video on this one with I forgot her name. It's come Aline. Sonia Aline, where she wrote an article about there are no friends at work. And then we also did a webinar. You can find it on our YouTube page called No Friends at Work. Yeah, you do have work besties, but
Mhm,
work besties they serve a purpose. Now, if you all become friends outside of work, that's great. But for the
mhm,
most part, you cannot come to work thinking this is everybody's your friend. You just can't. So you have
mhm.
to keep that in mind. And I think a lot of you know that already,
Me too. Me too.
though. All right. I know we self care. I wanted to share this first. Pay it forward. This is one thing I think is important for us to talk about is to make sure as Black women in the workplace. I know that could be a double-edged sword type of conversation to have to mention that, but I think we still should look at this as it really is our responsibility to pay it forward to our sisters, right? And be there for each other, keep it 100 when it comes to sharing our experiences, sharing how we've been able to navigate through these spaces successfully, or even share our failures and how we've been able to overcome those. Because this is how others learn as we mature in our industry, our careers. Why not think about that? Don't just get there and hold on to it. Share that. Hey, go back and share with someone what you experienced and how you navigated that, because you could be helping another sister who's going through it silently and not saying anything to anybody. What's your thoughts about that, Makeda? That's kind of how I feel about that.
Yep, I agree. I agree 100%. I really do. I don't have anything else to say about that. You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. All right. So the next one is, I think, the last one. Oh, continuous learning. Is that right?
Continuous learning. Yes. Yep. Yep. We talked about
Yeah.
self-care already. Yep. Continuous learning, again, really, really, really important. It's important. Continuous learning is important for your well-being. We are never going to be in this moment ever again. Just like that, the moment passed, right? And so we have to think about, what does that mean for our skill set? What does that mean for our career goals? What does that mean for the competition coming into the workplace tomorrow, next year, 5 years, etc.? And to be able to make sure you're keeping yourself competitive and sharp and valuable in the workplace. Continuous learning is something that we should always, always consider. Upskilling is something we should always, always consider. Be it, can you get, now we don't believe in going and doing 5 degrees now. If it's not necessary, do not do that.
Yeah.
Don't do it. However, taking some LinkedIn courses, maybe getting a certification from, one of the colleges or universities down the street that might be, $2,000, but it's a certification to help you position yourself for the future. Doing some YouTube university, that's always good, right? So always think of, there are different channels, associated with different costs associated with continuous learning. But again, think about, what do you have? What do you need in your career? What is your career goal? And what sort of educational resources do you need to support that?
Yeah, I love that, Makeda, that you said that, because, and I love how you put emphasis on, because I was going to go there, which is we don't need 5 degrees, right? Because I think what happens is that as Black women, we think, okay, well, in order for me to get this job or to level up here, I'm going to have to go back and get that second degree, because that's what's going to help me to position me for that next level. And that's not really how it works. For those of you who don't understand, this job market I wouldn't say is changing. It has changed, which means that now a lot of employers are going back to what it used to be in the in the 80s, before the 90s started putting more emphasis on education. It is more or less around experience, or degree or equivalent experience. So if you don't have a degree, but you've been in the business for 10 years and been doing the work, you probably more than likely have more experience than someone who's coming in for your education who only has a year experience, right?
Yep. I agree.
So you still can negotiate your salary and you're basing your value and worth of what you're bringing to the table. I always say, education, depending on what type of role you are or what type of job you're looking to obtain, that degree is going to be important for that role. We can't have doctors running around with no education, right? So we have to think about what that looks like. There's some roles where it's about the talent, and sometimes our innate gifts and talents can help you to excel in roles that having a 4-year degree sometimes is not help with. So thank you for sharing that part of that, Makeda, because I want to make sure we put emphasis on, we don't necessarily have to go back and continue to put ourselves in debt, and then we don't see the fruits of our efforts from our education when it takes more than just that.
That's right. That's right. So Kimberly Harris says others may frown upon you continuing the learning, but it helps keep your finger on the pulse of the industry since we must have um, twice the qualifications as our counterparts.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, go ahead with that. I mean, yeah, I mean, there are some. If you have employers or professionals who are out there who are frowning
mhm,
upon continuing learning, they're obviously not doing it themselves.
yep, yep, yep.
I mean,
I agree.
honestly, yeah. And
I
you
agree.
do see. Oh, I can't hear. Go ahead, Makeda.
No, no, no. Go ahead, because I want to tackle this for a little bit.
Okay.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna let you tackle this then, right? So for me, it's a little bit more simplified. It's just more cut and dry for me. I think that there's an opportunity for us to leverage our education in a way, but we have to be smart about that. I think what I'm trying to say without anybody, please do not go back and like share. No, I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm not saying you should not obtain your education. What I am saying is you have to be very smart about going back
Mhm,
and obtaining multiple degrees because you may not need them if you are looking at your career in a
mhm,
way that you are looking know what your gifts and talents are and you're
mhm,
being able to take a combination of those
mhm.
along with your education and market yourself in a new way and looking at this job market for what it is today and not for what it was 10 years ago.
That's right.
I'm
That's
going to
right.
go ahead and let you pass it off to you now.
I agree. Kimberly said, "Sorry for the typos. You're okay. We get
Oh
it."
no, you're fine,
We
Kimberly,
get
you're
it.
fine.
Yeah. So I just want to reiterate. You said others may frown upon you continuing the learning, but Kim, who am I married to? It's not the job, and it's not the people at the job. It's my goals. And so, if you,
Do I have a mic? I could drop a mic on that one.
right, right, if I am, and a lot of us, we may work in a very niche industry, we might have a very niche job, and if any of us want to be the best, we want to make sure we position ourselves for the future. We have to make sure that we are doing the things necessary to be the experts, to be the best of the best. I want to be the best of the best in the supplier diversity industry, and
Hmm.
I'm working on that. So that has required me to take a couple of exams for certification. That has, required me to do a little bit more. It's not again degrees because there is no degree for supplier diversity. However, there are different certifications, there are different industry groups, there are different
Hmm.
um, different talks. There's a lot of futuristic, philosophical sort of, thinkers who have, okay, supplier diversity and sustainability. Eventually, they're going to merge, right? Or we should be thinking about them in parallel versus separately, right? So those are the sort of things that I need to continue to learn and learn from today's now experts if I want to be the expert in 5 years, next year, 10 years, whatever it may be, right? So again,
Hmm. Hmm.
if they frown on me trying to be excellent, that's on them.
Yeah, I mean that's true. And I mean, Kimberly, I mean, you hit it on the head, honestly, about keeping your finger on the pulse of the industry. Whatever industry you're working in, what is an industry requiring? Look at
Mhm,
people who've excelled already in these roles, the role that you want to be in. Look at their credentials. What do they have that has helped them? And sometimes it's about who they're connected to that you don't see. So if
mhm,
they're connected to specific people, that could also have
mhm,
helped them to excel the
mhm,
relationships and the network they have. So even though don't look just specifically everything at the continuous learning part, they
mhm,
may have 2 degrees, 2 certifications. You're like, oh, I need that because they're in this role. That's what I'm
mhm,
going to need to get there. Well, not
mhm,
necessarily. And don't be afraid if you see someone on LinkedIn who has that title and you want it, and you see specific things in their credentials in their in their profile, send them a message. Ask them, what did it take for you to get to where you are? I
mhm,
see you have this degree and this certification, but also do your own research. What is your industry valuing the most when it comes
mhm.
to that? So it's a collective amount of things you need to consider when you're talking about continuous learning, and how is that learning valuable to you and helping you to excel in your career. And you've got to pay attention to your industry and what people are valuing when it comes to excelling in your field.
That's right.
And I'll say this: when 2003, I had taken the SHRM certificate, the PHR certification. That was not hot back then. It was like if you got a certification back then in 2003, it was like, okay, big deal. Now what, right? I, to study, spent $1,200 studying, prepping for this test, in this pre course thing for 12 weeks. Took the test, which was manual. It wasn't even computerized like it is now. I'm showing my age, but anyway, and I ended up passing and had the certification, which I stopped. I didn't even keep to recertify because no one was valuing it back then in HR. Okay, so I just let it lapse because there was no one seeing the value in having this PHR certification. Now, a lot of employers are asking for that certification on the resume, but see how long it took for that to come full circle.
That's right.
I was saying in the last 12 years, 10, 12 years, it's been now where they really are valuing having a PHR, SPHR certification as an HR professional. So I'm just saying that to say, pay attention to the trends because, if you're too ahead of your time, you could be wasting money. But then too, if you're thinking futuristic and big picture, you're like, you know what? Let me stay ahead of the curve because they can look at me and say, hey, she's had this certification for 12 years, so she's been on top of foreseeing what was coming all along.
That's right. That's right. So Kimberly, excuse me, sorry. She says education also includes professional certifications. Yes. Elise, I think am I saying your name right? Please drop the mic. Say that quote enough. Yes. Kimberly, she said I had a boss that was irritated that I always wanted a new certification every year. I put it in development goals. I was one that used these allocated training funds every single year.
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should take advantage and use every dime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you should. That's what it's there for.
Yeah. Again, if she's irritated, that you wanted to better yourself, that's not even a problem. That's everything.
Yeah, it's a personal problem. I'm like, oh well, go ahead and sign off on this check because I'm about to take this course.
Okay. I might even say, hey, do you want to take the course with me?
Yeah. I like that.
Let's do it together. Because I would also, you can't ask why she irritated. Well, you can. But again, if you're curious, I'm curious, why does she have an issue with you bettering yourself? It's only going to make you better, which means it's going to make the team better, which means it's going to make her look better. What's the issue?
And that's a yellow flag because that means that you may have someone who is unsupportive of your, you may have an unsupportive manager. And I just wrote an article about that. I haven't posted it yet, but I just wrote an article about unsupportive manager and how you navigate them.
Yeah. And that's a good place to be. Sherry says, thanks, ladies, for the platform today. It's great information. Sherry, we are so glad you're able to join us. And thank you. It was a pleasure. Sherry, any last words? Let me see if we're done.
I think we're done before we wrap up.
You want to connect, join with us?
Connect and join with us. Most of you, I know a lot of you tune in every other week with us as we go through and talk about real-time career advice that you can go back and apply, and we try to make sure that what we are sharing is something that you can execute in real time. But please download our app and get connected with us in our community. We have resources, a whole entire library of videos and downloads and things. So, and this is a community to really help to support your career development. And on the go, in your pocket, okay, in your purse, wherever you want to go. Stay connected. You'll get the notifications. I think we're actually live right now, aren't we? Aren't we live right now?
We're live in the
app. Yeah, so we go live. So we're not only live on LinkedIn, we're actually live in our community on our app too. in sharing these career tips with our community. So
Mhm, mhm.
just wanted to share that with you as well.
Yep, yep.
I think I think my last words is just, as we, I know last week we talked about kind of finishing strong. Not last week, week before last, we talked about finishing strong in 2024. Just keep those thoughts in mind, about what you want to do and how you want to forge ahead in your career for next year.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
know that we're here to support, and that this is our job. Our job is to pay it forward with you all too, and
Mm,
sharing in our experience and offering up advice to help empower you in the workplace as Black females.
that's right. Mm,
Hmm.
mm. All
Yep.
right. My last words, I'll say it again. Be married to your goals, not the job and not the people.
Yes, and I'm actually creating a graphic today that's going to as the quote for the day. Oh, thank you, Kim. Yes, please do download it, and we invite all of you go to the Apple Store, Google Play, and get connected with us. And again, if you enjoy our Career Tip Tuesday, you absolutely will enjoy being a part of our community. So please,
Mhm,
we want you to stay connected with us.
that's
And
right.
then when I jump off of here, I'm going to make that graphic and quote Makeda to post it on the timeline. Makeda, you're going to text that to me so I can remember exactly the words. I want to
Mhm.
get it right.
All right.
All
All right.
right, you all. Well,
Thank you.
enjoy the rest of your work week. And again, we will see you all in 2 weeks. Have an amazing week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.